All right, welcome to another episode of Inappropriate Earl. You guys know who we interview on this show. Rock stars, porn stars, comics, people you've never heard of. We've had UFC fighters on. We've had the amazing Tawny Katane was on, which is kind of ironic because today it's kind of like the bookend to Tawny in terms of the greatest, really the only era when MTV played videos. Tawny ushered in the era, and my next guest kind of brought it to a close in a great, amazing style. Please welcome Bobbie Brown.
Hi.
Bobbie, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I am great after reading your book.
And, thank you.
You know, because it taught me that you were so much more than the cherry pie girl.
Thanks.
I'm sure you're sick of being referenced because you've done so much more than just that video.
Yeah, but I mean, it is who I am, and that's how people know me, and this is why I'm here. So, you know, I'm not mad about it. You know what I mean? Like, I welcome it. I'm happy.
And I had no idea that you were in the hurricane video.
Yeah.
Because I inducted those guys into the, I guess the Rainbow has like a Hall of Fame.
Uh-huh.
And they asked me to do it for some godforsaken reason. And that was the only song I knew of theirs.
Yeah, me too.
You know, I mean, I don't mean this in a rude way towards those guys because I love them. But
yeah.
That was kind of their only hit.
Yeah.
And I think it was probably because you were in the video.
I don't know. But thank you.
And then Great White as well.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was you in the video.
Yeah.
There really weren't a ton of clear shots of the girls in that.
Mm-hmm.
And so you are responsible, I think, for a lot of these bands' successes.
Oh, well, I don't know about that, but hopefully I helped.
Well, I mean, I think if you take you out of those videos, it's just, a good song. I mean,
yeah.
In the Cherry Pie video, I mean, I don't think anyone remembers the lyrics. They just remember you and, maybe
funny.
The drummer Steven hitting the cherry pies.
Right.
I mean, that video kind of gets credited as being what's best and worst of the era from the standpoint of, what's best was it's a great, anthem. And I know Janie was, from reading your book, not embarrassed by the song, but like, he was a great songwriter.
Right. And he didn't consider it was his best work. It's not something he wanted to really probably be remembered as.
Right.
Because when you're a songwriter and you write a song on a pizza box in 5 minutes on the toilet, that's not what you want to be known for, really. But I think he kind of forgave it towards the end there, but for a while he kind of was sick of it.
Well, I know that, like I'm a big Kiss fan, and I know Gene and Paul think of themselves as great songwriters.
Oh,
and,
yeah?
I think some of their most known hits are their sillier songs.
Right.
So it was just a great era. And, before I became a comic, I was kind of a club kid myself. Mm-hmm. So, like, when you mentioned a guy like Billy Atkins' name, I was like, oh, my God.
That's funny.
Bam Bam. That's what we all called him. And
yeah.
So it was just neat to hear you. I mean, you were there in the Strip when it was in its prime.
Yeah. So it took you back, huh? You had some memories from that?
I did. I remember Helena's and with Spice and like Garden of Eden.
Yeah.
And, I don't think you and I ran in the same social circles, but, it was just such a great time warp. And,
yeah.
Was there a moment when you came here from Louisiana where it was like, wow, I'm not back home anymore. Like, oh
yeah. Well, the moment you step off the plane, you get an energy just when you're landing here, just that buzz, it's just such a different energy, from there to here. And, it's almost anxious, but it's exciting. And, but yeah, it's definitely a different temperament from here to there. My mother hates it here. She feels anxious when she comes. But it was definitely my speed, obviously.
Oh, sure.
So, or maybe not. Maybe that's why I started doing more drugs. I don't know. Who knows? But, it's definitely different. Like Louisiana's super chill, laid back. Everybody's just slower. Oh,
of course. No, I've played the comedy clubs in Shreveport. It was not the deepest audiences, but I loved the down home. Such non-LA folk, which I mean, we all love LA.
It's a very affectionate, Southern hospitality. It's still there, with the manners and the yes ma'am and no sir. And it's very, I don't know. It's just polite, I think.
It was like real people. I mean, it seemed from reading your book that, every time you might have hit a rough patch, whether it be with men or other issues, that you would always go back home. And like, that was your safe spot.
Well, yeah, that's with my family, who love me unconditionally, no matter what kind of a screw up I am or what I've done. They still love me. So,
Well, Mr. Earl, I mean, I'm honored to be, hopefully you think of me someday as Mr. Earl Jr.
That's funny. Mr. Earl is an amazing man.
No, I mean, he was basically your, stepdad, I guess.
My stepdad for 26 years, yeah.
And that I just thought it was so neat that Mr. Earl and your real dad could like almost coexist. And,
yeah.
Most exes and current, lovers or whatever, they don't really get along.
It wasn't like that in the beginning, I can assure you. But but it did. After 26 years, I mean, my dad would come over and have dinner with all of us every Sunday. So
I mean, that's awesome. And just that you lost them so close together. I mean,
2 weeks apart. It was pretty hard.
I mean, I lost my parents 2 months apart, and it was just like
it's devastating.
You don't even have time to mourn the first person who...
I know. It sucks. I was devastated for years because of that. It was pretty traumatizing.
Well, what I found really interesting about you is that, I think people would assume that you are into the glam metal music, the Poisons, the Rats.
No.
And you were more into like hip hop and like dance music. And it's just, was it hard for you to be so entrenched in the, 80s metal world and have it not really be your favorite kind of music? Not
really. I mean, I liked music and I didn't not like rock music. I just like to dance. So, that kind of music just was more, it was easier to dance to. It's not really easy to dance to rock music.
Yeah, I don't think you could dance to the Down Boys.
Yeah, just stuff like that. Like, I have rhythm. So, I just kind of went with what moved me.
I mean, I can't really think of many. I mean, Warrant kind of had some bluesier side than most of those bands, and maybe like Cinderella.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't say, they did have Little Richard in their video.
Who, Cinderella?
They had Little Richard in their video for Shelter Me.
Oh, yeah. I remember we went to one of those shoots, and I think that might have been the one.
It was, I think they had, it was like their last big video, and they had like Dweezil Zappa.
Yeah, I think we were there, actually.
Oh, it was, there was a beautiful blonde girl in the video. You weren't actually in the video, were you?
I don't know. No, I don't think so. No.
Now, when you did the Cherry Pie video, I know you tell the story of Janie walking into the record company, the big Cherry Pie, like a platinum maybe album or poster.
Yeah.
And then like 3 weeks later, there was an Alice in Chains.
Well, I think it had been up for quite a while. And then he went to the label one day, and when he walked in, he saw Alice in Chains had replaced their poster behind the front desk.
Right.
And that was just like, it was like a sign to him,
Like, was there a mad rush with these bands? Not necessarily Warrant specifically, but they knew what was coming down the pike. It's like, wow, we got to get these albums out and videos. And
I think it was just, it was just a telltale sign, and he came home just like, freaked out. So, and it was a telltale sign because they were on their way out.
Do you think these, I think some bands knew, like Bon Jovi's kind of had a little more staying power than, do you think some bands were just not prepared for like, oh, this era is going to live forever?
Probably. I mean, because when you're in the moment, you probably just think like, you don't want to think about when the end is coming or if the end is coming and if your fame is going to ever die or, you know what I mean? Like,
right.
You don't know. And in the record industry is very cutthroat. You're here today, gone tomorrow, and they have no love for you. And it's very hard. I've seen a lot of guys go through that. And It's a tough business. It's a scary business to be involved in.
Oh, it's awful. I mean, I've seen it because I'm such a fan of that era. I go see some of these bands, and like when I saw Warrant play at that blues bar in Long Beach, their backstage was the bathroom.
Wow.
And all 5 of them were in there, and I think Jamie St. James, who was singing then, you could tell he was so happy to like be in Warrant, and like, because he hadn't, maybe, he was in Black and Blue back in the day, but it's been a while, but still, it's like, wow, these guys used to sell out arenas, and like they looked happy, but
well, I guess they were so happy to be playing shows, period. But I
mean, it is a very unforgiving town, and it's probably like that with people who were in your end of the business, models and actresses.
Absolutely.
And
we go through the same type of, death. It's hard to compete with your former self,
Yeah. I mean, are you told to your face, hey, you need to lose weight?
Yes. All the time.
Your boobs need to get bigger, smaller.
Yes.
And who tells you? Like, I mean, it must be great to feel wanted, but then when you hear your agent or manager like say, "Hey, you're still not good enough," I mean, how do you deal with that?
It's hard to deal with that. And you just got to hope that you're still relevant. I mean, I'm just grateful that I'm still relevant, 20 years later.
Oh, you totally are. I watched The Ex-Wives.
Oh, thank you.
No, I love that show.
Thank you.
I don't know if I'm out of line by saying this, but to me, the only part I didn't like was Shannon Tweed's voiceovers.
Oh, really?
Well, she seemed like she was, she had this, just her voice was telling me, I'm too good to be on this show. And I'm going to like, not that she was making fun of you guys, but it seemed like she was mocking at some points. Is that?
She's reading script. So it's not her script that she's writing. I mean, that she's saying. It's not like she's watching the show and then commenting from her heart. Like
right.
She's given script to read. So our director, gives her what to say.
Okay.
When to say it. So he writes, her part. Our show is not scripted. It's totally, not scripted, but then that's the only part of the show that is.
Right.
Is what she says. So I think that it's just funny, so it's not what she really is saying.
Right. No, I mean
maybe it is. I don't know, but he writes it for her.
Well, because I know that you said Heidi Mark was originally supposed to be in it, but for whatever reason, she didn't want to do it.
She got pregnant and wanted to have a family and not do it on the show and that type of thing. So we replaced her with Athena, which was great because she was a great replacement.
Right, because relevant to I guess the dating of Tommy Lee, and so that kind of fit in the storyline. And she was going to be or soon to be ex-wife of a rock star, so she was perfect. Yeah, James Kodak, the drummer from the Scorpions, who recently was arrested somewhere in Europe,
Dubai.
Right. For what did he do?
Public drunkenness and
some lewd.
It's against the law to cuss in Dubai or to show your body parts, and he pulled his ass out and told him to suck his dick and stuff like that. So he got arrested for a month.
Oh, is he out?
Yeah.
No, well, what I found interesting...
And he was drunk, which is illegal there, too.
Listen, if you're the drummer in the Scorpions, you gotta, like, pound booze and...
yeah, well, not in Dubai, I guess.
Well, so I am assuming the Cherry Pie video, any music video from that era was never seen in Dubai.
They didn't even really air it in Canada.
Because it was, it wasn't that raunchy.
It was very sexist, according to the women's libbers.
Well, the only thing that freaked me out was when Steven was hitting the cherry pies. I thought, oh wow, this is either gonna.
I think sex sells. It always will. It is what it is.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Like I said, you take the girls out of those videos and...
It's pretty boring.
They're nice songs and all, but, most of those bands weren't the greatest looking guys.
Right.
I love Whitesnake, but, David Coverdale is... I
would have never watched that video if Tony had not been in it.
She's doing the splits on the Jaguars and like in the Rat video for Back for More, you're like, listen, I love Stephen Pearcy, but it's like, wow.
Same again, yeah.
And Motley, Girls. I know you mentioned that. that. I mean, you take those girls out of that video, you're like, I do not want to look at Mick Mars.
Yeah, for sure.
You know,
Yeah.
so I mean, especially for that, I don't even know if they make videos anymore.
Good question. I think they do. I just don't know where they air them.
I mean, it's definitely not on MTV.
Yeah, probably not. I mean, MTV is just like a VH1 now, like a TV show, kind like TV shows, right?
Yeah, it's like Jersey Shore type shows, and
Yeah, it's just all shows now.
Stop, I'm 16 and pregnant.
Yeah, it's like music television, but not really.
I mean, do you get approached still to do videos for like? I mean, I don't even know who makes.
The last video I did was a country music video. So I know they make country music videos.
Right.
I just don't know if they make rock ones or pop ones anymore. Do they? I guess they do.
I mean, I know.
They do for YouTube, I guess, huh?
I think Kiss did a video, but it's really not Kiss anymore.
Really? What do you mean?
Well, it's Gene and Paul, and then
not the same guys, original guys. Yeah.
Ace and Peter can't play anymore because of maybe some substance issues.
Oh, okay.
So they dress up two guys as Ace and Peter.
Oh, do they?
And it's actually a much better band musically.
Is it?
But I don't think anyone goes to a Kiss concert for, the music necessarily.
Yeah, of course they go for the show. Yeah.
Now speaking of Kiss,
okay,
I know that you had said one night, I think at Roxbury, if I'm remembering in the book, that Paul Stanley maybe asked for your phone number, but you said he was very effeminate,
right?
Which he does kind of give off that vibe.
Yeah.
I mean,
but that was their vibe, so maybe I was just reading it wrong.
No, I think you were reading it right.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I sat next to him once at a hockey game, and he's a very distinguishable looking man. I mean, it's him. And the lady in her 70s next to me was like, "Who's that guy next to you?" I'm like, "Oh, it's the singer from this band." And her next question was, "Is he gay?" Because he's got this very manicured face, and the eyebrows are perfect, and I don't know. I mean, I don't care if he is or not. I still like him.
Yeah, of course. And yeah, I mean, I know he's married with kids and everything. I'm just saying he was just extremely effeminate for a male. Like his mannerisms. And he's and the way he talks, and I don't know.
No, I love him, but
yeah.
I mean,
and if he's gay, so be it. I don't care. Who cares?
Oh yeah,
yeah.
No.
But yeah. So when he asked me out, I was like, I thought he was gay. I didn't know.
But you knew who he was. I mean, because I know that Kiss was.
I went to his concert, but I brought a date, and so he was like, "Oh."
Which concert did you go to there?
I don't know. It was a long time ago, and I brought Matthew.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Who Nelson was.
Yeah.
They had, they kind of came in at transition time, like toward the end of the prime of the era, and
they did.
Like the show Beavis and Butthead really made fun of them in Winger, and
did they?
Oh yeah, they really. I thought their music. I liked their songs, but
yeah, they were talented.
Incredibly talented, but I think a lot of guys from that era don't get the credit.
Yeah,
because it's how they looked,
right?
And
right.
Like even Warren, Janie's a great, amazing songwriter, and the great front man, and but he's kind of, that's the guy from Warren.
Right.
I mean, did that ever bother him? Like,
yeah, totally. Of course it did.
Just like the bad reviews, or maybe people mocking the bands or the era.
It's just about in the moment they were great. They were totally liked and well received. But because when that era changed to grunge, that was completely taboo and looked down on, and like hair bands was the new name of their sound, and that was kind of an insult or a backhanded compliment. And of course it's a little insulting when you're actually musically studied, inclined, a great writer, it's your whole life dream, to be suddenly shunned because this whole new fad has come in, and that was the fad before. It's just like I said, people are very judgmental and unforgiving.
But what I found funny was grunge killed most of my favorite bands.
Right.
But then a couple years later, boy bands
Right.
kind of killed grunge.
Right.
So, I think everything, I don't know what's popular now. I mean, I know.
I don't either.
I mean, I don't really get the music scene today. I mean,
there's so many levels of different kinds of music now that is beyond me that I wouldn't even know. Like, I don't even know what goes into what genre anymore. Unless it's completely specific,
Yeah. I mean, I'll be really sad when the older bands like Judas Priest and Iron Maiden.
Oh, I hate those kinds of.
But I mean, because it's just you like more like Prince.
I like Prince. I mean, I just have a specific disinterest with Judas Priest.
Oh, I mean, is there a particular reason why, or
yes?
Oh, okay. I mean, is would I be out of bounds by asking why?
Oh, I'll tell you later.
Okay, no worries. Like I said, I want to be respectful here.
Yeah.
I Miley Cyrus. I don't get Justin Bieber. I mean, I don't really.
I'm Justin Bieber's third cousin, far removed.
Really?
No.
Okay. Well, see, I'm very gullible.
No, I'm joking. It's a joke.
But you could tell me anything, and I would believe it. So.
Oh, yeah, I'm pretty much the same way. It's a just silly joke. I always say that that's what I look like. Justin Bieber's like illegitimate nephew, Jorge.
When I look at you, I do not think of Justin Bieber. I mean,
thank you.
You still look amazingly beautiful, you've held up better than 99.9% of people from that era.
Thank you.
It bums me out when I see some of my comrades from that era, and they're like, just due to drugs or
barely holding up their skin.
Yeah, and I won't mention names.
No, yeah.
They might be future guests on the show.
Oh shit, yeah.
It's just kind of when you see your idols, or not idols, but just people you admire.
Yeah.
But you've had such a long career, but when did you realize, and I don't mean this in a rude way at all, but when did you realize your looks could get you places?
When I moved out here.
Right.
Yeah, when I moved out here, it was I was never treated really that different in Louisiana. I mean, I was Miss Teen Louisiana, stuff like that, but that was a fluke. That was the first, pageant I entered and was shocked that I even won.
Because you had to change your dress, right? Because I think the organizer.
Yeah, because I didn't know what kind of dress. I wasn't a pageant type girl, but when I moved out here and just the response that I got to everyone here was when I was like, "Whoa, what's the big deal about?" So that's when I realized.
And when did you realize out here that the competition level and like the backstabbingness of like going up for certain parts was like, wow, this is not. I thought
you get continuously fucked over. You start to realize people are a little different here,
right? And
that they're out here for a reason. And I've spent a lot of time hurt, like baffled and upset about, the way people were. And, it's not something you ever really get used to. And it's not something you can ever do to change yourself to be receptive to it or understand it either. I think it's just a matter of who you are innately in your heart. And, my goals weren't that backbiting, like everyone else's were.
Right.
And so I wasn't willing to, screw people over and fuck people over left and right like they were doing me just to get ahead. It wasn't that important to me because I felt like people are still people,
Oh, so,
sure. It's kind of disturbing, the industry, but some people crave it and that's what they are here for. And I wasn't necessarily,
I mean, you kind of fell into the music video role. I mean, you didn't come out here. I mean, I don't think anyone was coming out here to be in a hurricane video.
Yeah.
And, I love those guys. But, when you got that call from your agency, was it just a job?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And is there anything specific you remember about like that? Because that was probably your first introduction, I guess, into the LA metal world.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
it was.
Were you like, who are these guys?
I didn't even really care. I was just like, yeah, great, cool, whatever. It was just another job. It was fine. I wasn't like impressed. I wasn't starstruck. I never was though. See, for some reason, I just never have been. I've never been like, in awe of anybody. I wasn't one of those kids that had like Leif Garrett posters on the wall or idolized anyone. Like I've never been that way. So, I mean, it was just cool. They were nice guys, and that's what I remembered about them. It was fun. I remember it was long and late shooting,
right?
You know, but it was fine. It didn't make me like love rock music after or anything. It just was a job.
And then you get the Great White, which was a big song for them. Probably their biggest song.
Yeah.
And it's kind of the same feeling. Like, okay, this is just, I don't know.
Totally. I wasn't like, oh, I need to be dating rock stars. Like, it wasn't like that.
Although you did have the Motley Crue posters all over your room.
Yeah, they were, when they came out, it was a totally different thing. They were so crazy, and, and I was such a little rebel trying to, go against everything my mom wanted. So they were perfect. I played their record all the way to Disneyland just to annoy my parents. As Shout at the Devil is screaming, my stepdad's like, can we turn this off? I'm like, no. Just to be a little asshole, basically. And, I did my job well.
Well, he's turned out pretty good. So
Thanks.
They did a good job.
Yeah. Well,
and Mr. Earl as well.
In spite of their efforts, I've pulled through a little bit. It's taken me a while, but.
Well, it's, I'm honored to have you here.
Thank you.
I know you get asked to do a lot of these things. And,
yeah.
I tried to listen to a few that you'd been on, and it seemed like the host was constantly trying to pick up on you. Or,
really?
I mean, just from their end, like,
There's been a couple.
You are an icon, and, I'm just happy to have you here. My goal is to want you to come back. Maybe is there going to be a season 2 of X or another season? Season 3. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we're filming season 3 right now.
Oh, right now! Wow.
Yeah.
And same. I don't know if you're allowed to say same group.
Yes. Yep. Same group. We 26 episodes this time, not just 14.
And it's going to be on Fuse?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
We're not sure because Fuse was just recently bought by Jennifer Lopez. So we don't know if we're going to fit into her lineup. So, but we're definitely, we're airing August 31st, I think, on the Slice Network in Canada. And I think we find out who our American people are going to be soon.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Because it is, you girls, it's great synergy between the 4 of you. I mean, I really liked the vibe you and Charisse have. And, obviously I'm a Motley fan, so I love the Vince Neil angle. And maybe you can't say, but is there ever any effort to get, like him on or, No.
There's no.
It's more you guys. It's not about.
It's not about them. The show's not about them. It's about the fact that we were married to them and what our lives are like now. It's like, what happens after, the red carpet rolls up.
Oh, sure. Absolutely.
So no, we don't. The last thing we want to do is bring any of our exes back around.
Oh, no, I understand. I mean,
yeah.
Well, what I found funny was I know that you had said Tommy had kind of tried to talk you out of doing that show.
Yeah.
He didn't want you doing reality TV, but he did that awful show where he went to college.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
So, I mean, I was like, wow.
Yeah.
I mean, I watched every episode of that show. So,
yeah.
Was it just something you
I think he was just afraid of me and Athena getting together, blabbing, blab, 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 being big mouths.
Well, I mean, his reputation is what it is. I don't think
thinking about himself, really.
Yeah, I mean, I still don't understand when he did the Methods of Mayhem. The rap stuff. It's like, dude, you're like from Encino. I don't think really anyone's gonna get the rapper vibe.
Right.
But so Ex-Wives is that what's anything else going on? Like any project that you can talk about?
Yeah, my audiobook comes out next month.
Did you do your own audiobook?
Yeah, I read it myself, and I just finished taping that, and it's going to be awesome. I do voices and imitate people, and the inflections of the deliveries I try to imitate, and then when it's emotional, you can hear that, and I feel like people are going to really, really connect with the book even more because it's like me telling the stories, and me reading, my life to you. Not that anybody really wants to sit down and be like, hey, let me just talk to you about my life, but anybody that wants to read the book, I think that the audiobook is going to sell the book even more because it's it's going to be great. I mean, I felt every word I said. So you'll be able to hear that.
I mean, I read a lot of music biographies, and it really opened up my eyes to the heartaches in your life, and like it made me like almost like you even more just because she's human. Like,
Thank you.
The various, maybe drug situations in your life and how you pulled through those, and I think fans of that music of yours of that era, they don't see that side of people.
Yeah.
They just see the successful side, and the videos and the money and the houses, but they don't, you're human too.
Yeah. They envision a whole different picture than what it really is.
Yeah, I mean, it's especially in LA, and it's such a. I mean, I love it here, but man, some of the people suck here.
Yeah.
So, and I can only imagine that the schemes and scams that still get offered to you, and luckily you have a good man in your life to ward off, hopefully, most of those idiots. But, can I ask how you and your man met? I don't.
We met on a dating site.
Okay, no, that's
called
cool.
Tinder.
Oh, really? I've been on Tinder before, and let me tell you something. I never saw a girl like you on Tinder. I must have clicked left by accident, but
yeah, we met on Tinder. Is that funny?
No, that's great. I mean, I would not think that Bobbie Brown would be on Tinder, but that makes me feel better about me being on Tinder.
I was on it for I think I was on it for a day, and it was a match, and we started talking right away, but we didn't actually meet for like a month because he had to go out of town, and it was like right around the holidays, and so then we finally met. But we communicated here and there for about a month.
No, I've met your man before. He's a great. He's seems very grounded and very non-LA. Is he from? I mean,
he's from Maine.
I could tell. No one can be that nice and be from LA. I mean, I'm from LA. But, I mean, is it? I don't want to ask too much about him.
It doesn't matter.
Oh no, is he? What's his profession? I mean, possible. I mean,
he came out here to be a musician.
That's cool.
Yeah, and he is the former singer of Joy Island.
Okay.
And now he is working on some solo projects, and some remixes of some music.
Oh,
and
cool.
He's doing his own music thing, but he's a very talented singer. So
that's great. I mean, do you just think you gravitate towards musicians just?
Actually, it may look that way, but my last relationship, which was horribly toxic and bad, lasted for almost a decade, was with I had decided just to go with a regular guy, nobody in the industry, blah, blah, blah. And that was probably the worst relationship I've ever had. So I just said, screw it. I'm just going to go with who I'm attracted to. And when I was on Tinder, I saw his picture and I was like, he's cute.
Yeah,
and
click right.
Yeah, I guess he thought I was cute too. And the rest is history.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And, it's you deserve a good man in your life. And that was another thing that I really loved about your book was how faithful you were.
Yes.
Because I was recently cheated on, and man, it sucks. And,
it really does suck.
I don't know. I think people just have a vision of someone who looks like you. She could get any guy she wanted. She must play the field, boyfriend or not. And I was just that was probably my favorite part of the book was I know you said you went to a club one night with your, let's say Kenny, maybe one night. Mm-hmm. And you had some suitors at the club. Mm-hmm. I think Stephen Dorff, who I loved what you said to him.
Yeah.
Get your smelly breath out of my face. And you left with your friend. And I was like, wow, that's
I'm a girl's girl, but I'm respectful to my man if I have a relationship.
Well, that's awesome because you could. I sure wish I could get you in touch with some people, and it must be hard though for you to date. I mean, just because I mean, you're still so beautiful that do you have like a guard up where like you're like.
Yeah, I don't go out. This is the reason why I joined Tinder, is because I didn't ever go out.
Right.
I work and I don't go out, and I don't like do the scene anymore. And I just felt like, where am I going to meet somebody? How am I going to meet anyone if I'm never out? So that's why I joined that.
I mean, there really is no scene anymore. Like, there's no bar
And the scene
one.
that there is sucks.
I mean, I don't even know, but I mean, I know David Arquette has a pretty nice.
Yeah, his
actually,
new place. Yeah, I heard was good. I haven't been, but I heard it was good.
And but I mean, there's no more Bar One or
it's
Roxbury.
definitely not the scene it used to be. That's for sure. And I've been out here a couple times, and I have to say I don't like it. So, it's not my scene. So,
Oh, sure. I mean,
yeah.
We really were lucky to grow up in that era.
It was a fucking wild, fun time. It really was.
Yeah, I mean, it's just it's
I'm
hard to
lucky to come out of it.
Yeah, you've come. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people haven't, sadly.
Yeah.
And a lot of people who have come out of it are hanging on by a thread, and
Yeah. Bless their hearts. Yeah.
It's like it's kind of sad. Like I've seen a certain member of Wasp around town, and they were.
Oh yeah, I know.
I think we know who he is. He's moved to Finland recently, and it's like, wow, man, what?
Yeah.
What happened to you?
I think I saw him at an autograph show.
Yeah, no, I had to sneak him in once to a Motorhead show, and it's like, how am I sneaking you in?
Yeah, it's weird.
Didn't these guys open for you?
It's just weird. I know, it's a weird thing.
So it's like, but I still have fun going to the shows, and there's not many bands from that era who are still around.
Yeah.
So it's like, enjoy it while you have them. And,
Yeah.
I mean, I just saw Kiss and Def Leppard at the Forum. And,
Oh yeah. How was that?
I go more for Paul's song intros.
What really?
He gives the best song intros.
What is it like? What?
Well, like he'll talk about like they're gonna do the song "Lick It Up," and he'll talk about.
I'm scared.
No, I'll keep it clean. Like I said, I want to be respectful. He was just, he talks in that kind of
Gay, effeminate.
He's
voice.
kind of morphed
kidding,
into.
I'm
No,
kidding.
you're right. I mean, he's morphed into this black Jewish woman.
This is what I'm saying, right?
He's like, when I was just a little baby, I used to date a girl. Her name was Beth, and I told Beth, never lick it down, Beth. And then he like sucks his finger and like lick it up, and it's like, and that's not the worst intro, believe me on that one. But and
That
then,
visual just sounds awful.
well, it is. And then when they get into Love Gun, that's when
God.
he talks about like some nurse sticking her hand down his pants and touching his rifle, and it's the best. You've got to go. I'm sure you
Awesome.
probably don't have much interest in seeing Kiss, just because you've seen them.
I'm sure Steel Panther does a great imitation.
Oh, I love those guys.
Yeah, they're great.
And they're opening up for well, I don't want to mention their name again, but Judas Priest.
Are they?
Yeah, it's got like a big, somewhat controversy that they're taking
That's whoa.
that's an interesting
Yeah, combo.
combo. So
That scares me. I don't know.
it'll be now. What concerts do you go to now? Like, you've seen and done it all in the music world. I mean,
I don't go to concerts. It's that I know I don't. Can't even think of the last concert I went to, actually.
so when you guys go on a date, what's it like? What's a date?
I wanted to go to see Jesus Christ Superstar. That's not really a concert.
Well, no, that's got some good tunes.
But the last concert I went to was Incubus, Brandon Boyd. For my
And now-
birthday 2 years ago.
Oh, 2 years ago?
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
Well, you've probably been to so many concerts that, like, going to concerts for you is like, and I'm sure people approach you and, oh my God, drunk idiots too.
Like Incubus is the only concert I think I've been to in the last decade, actually. I've been a few times to their show. I'm a huge Incubus fan. Huge.
Oh, they're great.
Yeah. And amazing live. But I went to the Hollywood Bowl, which sucks.
Parking's horrible.
The parking's horrible. Walking around, like it's really just like watching it on a big screen TV, unless you have seats right in front of you, like right there. And I think it's probably the worst place to go see a concert.
Yeah, no, it's I like the Greek if you ever
Yeah,
have a
the Greek's
chance.
awesome. The Greek's awesome, but the Hollywood Bowl, so annoying. And then you can't leave, and you can't like we took a limo and was dropped off, which was awesome because we didn't have to park and all that. But still, just the walking around, like wear tennis shoes, don't expect to hold on to your friends, like
Right.
It's crazy.
Now, a couple interesting facts about your book.
Okay.
That I had no idea that you auditioned for Sharon Stone's role
Yes.
in Casino.
Yes.
And that came on the other night.
Yeah.
And I totally could see you playing that part. I mean,
Thank you.
I mean, and she, like you said, she was nominated for an Oscar.
Yep.
I mean, how does that work? You kept getting a call. Hey, they want you to audition for this role, and
Tommy didn't let me. He wouldn't let me he wouldn't let me take the role. He called him specifically, spoke to him, and said, "Let your girl do the part," and he was like, "No."
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
And were you a Robert De Niro? I mean, everyone seems like they're a fan of his, but like you must have been like,
totally.
Wow, he's like the greatest actor of our generation.
Yeah, and he spoke to him, and he was like, "No, we're getting engaged. We're engaged. She's not going to be doing this kind of work anymore. Blah blah blah."
Right.
So.
And like, you also had a interview or audition. I guess it's an interview.
Hook, yeah.
With Steven Spielberg, and
Yeah.
I guess you maybe were a little nervous, and
I was drunk.
Well, no, it's that's
Yeah.
I can imagine what meeting Steven Spielberg and like having him request for you.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that you probably wish it may have went better, but like, do you like spend time like not necessarily
regret,
but just do you not dwell on it?
I used to dwell on all of the missed opportunities and the things that I fucked up, and I had a lot of regret for a long time, and it's really hard to come out of that. And I beat myself up for it for a very long time, and that's probably when I got to my lowest lows, and that's a word of advice I always give to people. Don't ever hold on to the regret. Just try to make things better and different when you can, instead of, because you can make grief an art, and you can get stuck into that frame of mind and not pull yourself out of it. It's very negative and toxic, and unless you can start feeling better about yourself and realize that those are just mistakes that you made for whatever reasons, you can always pull yourself out of it and change your life and accomplish your goals, no matter what time of day it is and how long it's been, because without the effort, you'll never know. And by that time, you've already beaten yourself up so much that you don't think that you can do it or that you're good enough, but you are, and you can, and it's possible. And you just have to do it and be grateful. Being grateful is a huge, huge step. And I feel like then the opportunities are just there waiting for you all along.
Wow, this is like a Tony Robbins. Like, I want to go to the gym right now. I mean, other than your mom, did you turn to like not self-help tapes, but like was because you went through some like super crazy times.
I went through it all. I mean, I went home, I went to rehab, I got books, but it just really was a matter of, my family, my dad's died. It really just came to a point where it was like, what the fuck am I going to do?
Right.
Like, I'm at my lowest point. I don't know what to do. I don't know. I don't want to get a regular job. I guess I'm going to have to get a regular job. I had to start from the bottom, be a normal person, ignore my past and everything that I accomplished and shit on, and just crawl my way back up again. And that's what I had to humble myself and just be normal and be your average person that hadn't had those life experiences, and just accept that and then start over.
Right. I mean, like when you said you worked at La Paz.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, that's crazy. I mean, like,
Yeah.
I don't think anyone on earth could imagine you.
Yeah.
I mean, a record holder on Star Search for the spokesmodel. I mean, 9 times.
13.
See, I have a lot of information in my head.
It's okay. It's okay.
Video vixen superstar, not and and I don't think anyone in their wildest dreams should be working at La Paz.
Yeah.
But you did it, and
yeah.
But opportunities do come. You pulled through it.
Yeah, a reality show just happened to be filming there, and that was like how it all started to resurface. They were like, "You need your own show," and like that's just where it all came.
And was there ever a thought of? And I love the other 3 girls on the show.
Mm-hmm.
Was there ever a thought of just it being you? I mean, not. No. Did they ever approach you and say, "Hey, we want you"? And
they approached me first,
right?
And with the idea. And so I was with them at the ground level of the show in the beginning of the show, and I brought the other girls in.
And I also remember I think it was Time Life. You had the best of the 80s.
Yeah.
Was that fun to do?
That was awesome. Yeah, it was done in Canada. It was really fun.
I mean, do you ever get sick of talking about that era? I mean, even on a show like this, like
no, because that's how you get people know me. I mean, no, why would anyone want to talk to me about anything, else? Because that's how they know me, and so I'm grateful for that.
Because I mean, I remember once seeing Stephen Piercy, the singer from Rat. He was doing a solo show and he wasn't playing any Rat songs.
Yeah,
and the crowd got restless.
Out, right? Yeah.
Now I like the solo stuff, but I'm,
Yeah, you got to be a hardcore Stephen Piercy fan,
right? But people were like, we want to get round and round, and I could tell he was kind of getting bummed out.
Yeah, yeah.
Why do you think we're here?
Exactly. So what time do you have?
It is 4:37. Are you good?
I have to go.
Oh, no worries. No worries.
That's okay. But I can do a few more minutes, but I don't mean to cut you off.
Oh, Bobbie, listen, it's hard to get people to come to my house.
Is it?
It is, because people are like, they don't understand it. Like one guy, from an unnamed band was like kind of a dick about it. He's like, "Oh, dude, I don't want to come to you," and I'm like, "I'm trying to help you, brother." But,
yeah. I mean, right?
And I'm not saying this is like like doing the Tonight Show, but I don't know.
You know what? It is what it's. It's making you relevant, and if somebody wants to not be relevant in any way, then don't do it. Be a dick.
Yeah, no. I mean, I've gotten more people asking me, "When's Bobbie Brown? When's that episode up here?
Really?
When's that coming on?" We got to, you've posted it on your Facebook and Twitter. Like, just stop posting pictures of her and just get the interview.
That's awesome.
So I mean,
you're like, well, she keeps rescheduling on me.
No, you're busy. I listen. I'm humbled and honored that you took the time out to come here.
Thank you.
I know on Twitter, what's your Twitter handle?
At Bobbie Jean Brown.
And where can people get the book?
You can get the book anywhere. Basically, Amazon. Audible.com is an association with Amazon, and that's where the audiobook is going to be. So with Amazon, you can get it there. And within like 3 weeks, I think. And BobbieJeanBrown.net is my store, and Bobbie Jean Brown 92 Facebook, and Simon Schuster. You can get it at any, Barnes and Nobles, any bookstore. They have it at Walmart. They have it everywhere. Target. They have it anywhere.
I got it at Book Soup for you local LA people, and iTunes. Look for the audiobook.
I have it on iTunes yet.
Coming out, and you really, if you're a fan of the era, if you're a fan of Warrant, if you're obviously a fan of Bobbie's,
if you don't like to read, get the audiobook.
Right. Well, I got Paul Stanley's audiobook, and I couldn't take it because
is it somebody else or did he do it?
No, it's him. But it's so like it's 2.5. Who knows how many hours it is? Me and Gene, we were writing the song, and Gene wanted to put the lyrics, "Bend over, let me put my log in your fireplace," and
oh my God,
which was an actual lyrics to Kiss song. But I know awesome. You got to go. Listen,
that's
maybe
hysterical.
Yeah, I would rather have someone else read his book, but now we're mincing hairs. Listen, I would love to have you back maybe when the show Ex-Wives season 3 comes
starts
on.
Airing, yeah.
And maybe we get your better half on.
Yeah.
Oh, I would love to have you and Charisse, Athena, Blue.
Yeah.
I mean, whenever you guys have the time, and please, Bobbie, I can't thank you enough.
Thank you.
This has been Inappropriate Earl. We're on SoundCloud and iTunes.
Not so inappropriate though.
Well, I want to be respectful because real fast, I know that you're probably sick of answering, how big was this guy? What was this guy like?
Yeah.
And, I can't imagine answering those questions for 20 years.
It's annoying.
So I try to
Thank you for not asking.
By the way, how big was... No, I'm just kidding.
I'm like, God.
No, I just, you were very sweet to do this, and I know you get asked to do a lot of these things. You're a very busy woman. I would love to have you back with the girls, or
That'd
just
be awesome. They would probably totally come.
I mean, I messaged Charisse once, but she probably thought, "Who the fuck is this clown?" I don't blame her. She seemed to be your hit woman. When like you had a problem with a guy at a club, you would send her to the like. Hey.
Yeah, she's pretty skeptical about things. I'm pretty easygoing.
Well, I can imagine being married to Vince Neil. You kind of like really get a defense level up.
Yeah,
real
and
fast.
she would crash, bottles and glasses in people's faces. So she's not one to approach, really.
Well, maybe if you could vouch for me down the road, just so she doesn't think I'm some idiot from the rainbow.
I totally will. Yeah.
But Bobbie Jean Brown on Twitter, I can't thank you enough. It's been an honor,
Thank you.
I look forward to having you back.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bobbie.
All right.